thank you to the EA Creator Network for providing me with early access to the Sims 4 Horse Ranch expansion pack. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. You wouldn't know how many times I messed up that introduction and I still didn't get it very good. Thank you to the Creator Network for providing me with early access. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't normally get early access to expansion packs, so I'm a bit all over the place. I feel a bit out of my normal routine. I'm kind of like, what do I do? What do I do? I have to make content. Oh my god, the pressure. Like normally I'm kind of like preparing, kind of like what all the other game changers have early access. I'm kind of like doing stuff in my own game where I'm like, oh, I can just like, when I get, like, I'm gonna build something and then when I get the pack I can update it. I'll kind of make some Sims, and when I get the pack I'll kind of like dress them up, and I'm just kind of like in like, oh my god, I've got early access. I have all this, like, with great access comes great responsibility. So what did I do? But I made My Little Ponies in The Sims 4. I made My Little Ponies. I was like, how do I show, like, I was like, I've shown off like Sims cast, how do I show off horse cast? I'll make my childhood My Little Ponies from the 80s. I'm an 80s child full of grace, and yeah, like I think, so I was born in 1982, so maybe I was about 4 when I really got into my like My Little Pony kind of like hardcore phase, and I had so many, but I think they were all secondhand. But I think a lot of the ones I had were kind of like first generation, second generation My Little Pony. So we're talking 1982, 1983, 1984, like that was where my jam was. So I had this tape, like a cassette tape as well, that I listened to on repeat, and it was like something like My Little Pony 7 stories, and so what I wanted to do is kind of like make the My Little Ponies from that 7 stories tape, because they're the ones that I kind of remember quite well, and then I had some of them. So my favorite My Little Pony is Applejack, like the original Applejack, who I think is so popular that she's actually even in like the reboot of My Little Ponies, like the cartoon version, which is so good with like Rainbow Dash and everything. Yeah, big fan, guys, big fan. But like Applejack's so good, and I had like a little Applejack like pony as well. Bow Tie was another big favorite because she was really pretty and girly, and she kind of had this like blue and pink. So I had Bow Tie, and she was one that was in this like thing. And then like Posy as well. I remember I had a Posy horse, and then like some of the others as well. So they're the kind of ones that I remember, and they are kind of like some of the originals. So they're the ones that I kind of wanted to make. So I'm actually gonna come out of game, I think, and we're gonna just kind of like run footage of me and Cass making the My Little Ponies, because I have actually already made them. So I'll be back with you in a second. Bye. Okay, so here we go. So this is where I originally started to make My Little Ponies in Cass. So I can talk you through some of the horse features as I kind of like show you me making each pony one by one. So here I'm trying to make Applejack, and so I make her, I think it's like a Clydesdale I eventually make her. So I'm just kind of like playing around with the options, and then I realize you can pick a breed. So I go for like a big Shire horse. I think, yeah, it's a Clydesdale that I go for. That's the brand, and I use that for every single horse because the shape. So the original My Little Ponies kind of had this really chunky shape to them, and yeah, I thought that the Clydesdale kind of had that kind of like chunky fat pony look, where like My Little Ponies, like the new generation, are kind of like skinny and bony, and they don't live in stables, they live in tables. So I don't love them as much. I like the little fat ones that I had in my childhood. So like the little chunky horse is it for me. And so Applejack, do you know what? I need a picture of Applejack. Wait guys, I will be back with you in a moment. Okay, so here we go. We've got an image of Applejack above my head. So I start off with a Clydesdale, and I'm taking off some of the kind of riding equipment so I can kind of have a really good look at her. So I start off by trying to make her orange. I'm currently using some of the base game. So this is something you can do. You can pick a breed and you can go in and like customize the colors. Now there was nothing that was quite the right shade of orange. So after a while, I realized that I could actually go in and customize with a color wheel. Now I'm not super familiar or good at using create a pet with cats and dogs or create a werewolf. So there's features here that I'm not used to using. So if I can do something vaguely resembling a My Little Pony, you guys can do a much better job than me. So I do actually realize at some point, I think that there's a color wheel. It might even be on the next pony, but I kind of like, I just went with an orange color that was already available to me, and then kind of like the yellowy hair. So I've gone for quite quite a simple mane. I've took off the kind of like the feathers as well on her feet, and I think I realized as well that you can go in and kind of like, oh, you can make them fluffy or make them sleek. So I do keep all of them sleek because they were kind of like shiny plastic, you know, they were toy horses. So yeah. With the customization of the head, you can go in and kind of like detail edit and like adjust the width, adjust like the size of the nose, the width of the mouth, the nostrils. Then you can go in and do the lips. You can do the cheeks a little bit, not as much as I wanted to. I wanted to be able to go in and get the fat bits of the cheeks and pull that out. Wasn't an option, unfortunately. And you can go in and make that eyes bigger as well. Now, unfortunately, you can change the color of their eyes. It's not particularly noticeable. So you only get like a hint of colour around the outside. The majority of the colour is that kind of big black pupils, but I did my best with that as well. So here I'm just kind of like fiddling away with her face, with her nose. But yeah, you get a lot of similar customization as you do with like Sims faces. It's just a bit of trial and error of kind of like where can I do it, like and looking at like where's highlighted, where's not highlighted. So I think I get kind of the general shape of her face. I do try and make her face as wide as possible, her nose a bit skinnier. You can change the ears as well. The ears have a lot of character, so some are kind of like a little bit more kind of like chunky, some are a little bit more kind of like tapered. I just went and gave her quite simple ears. And here you go, I'm doing the eye colour. So I think Applejack she must have blue eyes. I'm giving her blue eyes, so I guess she's got blue eyes. I thought they were green, but maybe they were blue on the picture that I was using. And you can't see it massively. You only get a hint of it. Oh yeah, no, I have given her green eyes. Yeah, she has got green eyes. Okay. So I went for the lighter green because I felt like it was a bit more obvious. Here I'm just playing with the unicorn horn because I was like, oh my god, there's a unicorn horn. Like, and I just wanted to kind of show it. You can also customize like the swoop as well. So you can see Applejack in the picture, she's got a bit of hair coming forward. So I gave her that kind of like forward swoop of hair. Oh, here I'm doing her freckles. You see she's got these adorable like white little spots. So again, at this point when I'm doing Applejack, I'm not really familiar with what I can and can't do with the tools. I would recommend as well just being aware of if you've got this little so it looks like a little butterfly under where you've got like the colour options. There's like, oh there it is, I'm on it now. There's that little butterfly which says it'll do the same thing on both sides. It'll make it symmetrical. So that's really handy, so you don't have to do everything twice. You can just do it on one side, it'll copy it to the other side. So just make sure that's on. So you can pick from all these different brush shapes. You can pick the size of the brush. You can pick the angle as well. So I'm just going in with like a basic circle brush and kind of like spotting where those cheek spots are. I found it a little bit awkward to get the camera angle right, so you can kind of zoom in. It doesn't always zoom into where you want it to go, so it is a little bit awkward with the camera angle, but you can see I kind of make it work. One thing that I found really frustrating trying to paint on the horses is they kind of move a little bit and breathe, so they've got this kind of like swaying quality to them, so I had to kind of like wait to kind of like spot in between the breaths. So I would prefer, if you're doing the detail painting, that they would stand completely still and not kind of sway or breathe at all when you're kind of doing that. But I think I successfully did the spots. I think I do kind of make her look quite similar to Applejack. Her head could do with being a bit chunkier, but I worked with the constraints of the game. So I do also just make her a little bit fatter, because you do get kind of, my tummy rumbled, guys. I need to eat more food. I mentioned being fat, and my tummy was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Eat more food. I'm not being like sizist, by the way. I just words. Like you have the fat and fit sliders, so the muscle and weight slider that you'd normally get for Sims. So you have that for horses as well. I didn't see a massive difference when I was using it, but it is what it is. So here I'm trying to do the apples that she has on her bum. So if you remember My Little Ponies in the 80s, they would always have, I found the poop emoji funny, so it's just kind of like showing that off for you. There's like a freezer bunny there and things like that as well. Some of the stamps are kind of funny rather than like how you're actually going to use them. I don't know. I think some of them are just there to play with. So there's no specific apple stamp, so I had to kind of figure out how to make that myself in the game. So I think this is where I realized that I can actually open up and customize color like beyond the colour wheel. You'll see me doing that in a second. So I'm just trying to get the colour right. It's kind of like this like tomatoey red colour that the apples are kind of on her. So I'm just kind of line them up and get them in the right places. And then I go in with something that looks a little bit like a leaf. And I go in with the little leaf stamp and just kind of like go and kind of create the top of the apple. So I was quite pleased with myself because I don't have the best artistic skills. I'm not kind of like Bob Ross over here. I know like Stepho Sims has that video where she kind of like does Bob Ross on a dog or something, which is just brilliant, like brilliant concept, but I don't have that kind of talent, so this is what you're getting from me. Kind of looks like apples, I guess, maybe, sort of. I do feel like I've gone for the right vibe. Like maybe it's not perfect execution. I feel like if some of you are really good at animal casts already, like werewolf casts and cats and dogs, like you're gonna be like really good at this. So she does have like a little, on the picture that I was using, she had like a little blue bow. I think I'd go back in and make it white. And I give this little hat as well, because in the newer version, in some of the animated cartoons, she has like a cowboy hat. So I just kind of went in and put that little cowboy hat on her for kind of like everyday wear. And then you kind of have to use a saddle. I don't think it lets you have like bareback for when you're riding them. So I kind of went for, I like that saddle because it has like a little bag on the side, because Applejack kind of like her lore is that she works in an orchard. So I thought she's putting like the apples in a bag, and she's kind of adventurous. I remember her being particularly clumsy. There's no clumsy trait for horses, which I think would have been a cute one, you know, like one that's particularly prone to kind of like knocking over the barrels or knocking down the jumps. Yeah, and I think I'd just go in and make her, just for me aesthetically, I liked the white and brown better than that kind of like yucky blue colour. So yeah, then I just go and kind of make her hooves match. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's really cute. I do feel like I've done Applejack justice by creating her in The Sims 4. I think she's really adorable. So obviously I do go in and give her a trait. So there's no clumsy trait, which would have been perfect for her. Another trait that Applejack the pony has that I think would have been really good in the game was she's really greedy. She's known as being like, she can't get enough apples. She's quite greedy with apples, and she will kind of put herself in danger to get them. So let me just, I think I just need to kind of like remove that image if I can find wherever it's gone. There it is. Let's just move that so you can see. So I've given her free spirit. It says, I can't see what it says. I've given her free spirit friendly. Maybe you can pause the video and see what it says. It's a little bit too small for me to read. It looks like these horses love all things social and brave. So I thought that was similar enough to kind of like her personality as I remembered it from the game. Because again, she's kind of brave. She doesn't really think about putting herself in danger if there's an apple there that she wants to get. All the ponies are friendly. It's like friendship is magic, right? So a lot of them have friendly, and yeah, I can't remember the other one that I gave her, a kind of free spirit. I just think she's adorable. I'm quite pleased with like how she turned out in the game. So that is Applejack. So I think next up is Bowtie, and I can show you kind of like what Bowtie looks like. Oh, she's got the blue ribbon there, so she kept it a little bit. Okay, so next up is Bowtie, who I absolutely loved. Applejack was my favourite, but Bowtie was one that I remember very, very well. She was very pretty. I liked the colour of the kind of the blue and the pink, and she was quite girly. So I remember Bowtie really loving like parties. So here I realised, I think this is the point that I realised you can click on that little colour swatch to the left of the colour wheel and actually go in and kind of like filter by like saturation and things like that. I think I realised that here it may not be quite there. Again, I'm faffing around a lot, trying to get the right colour. There you go. So you can go by brightness and things. You can copy and paste the exact kind of colour coordination hashtag number thing. So that was much more helpful, and you can use the fill tool. So this is where I really crack it with getting the body colour of the ponies right, when I realise that I can do this. So I do go in and faff around for a while until I feel like I've got the colour about right. I think I used a slightly different reference image. Sometimes the lighting can be a bit different. So she looks a bit lighter on this image here than she does in the kind of game. But yeah, that was like spot on to the image reference I was using. So all my cats made an appearance as well, and I've actually just had a bit of a snack to eat because my tummy was rumbling so much. So I go in and do a hair. I think it's sad that I couldn't get the hair colour right. I had to use the presets. There's no colour wheel for the hair, which is sad because I would have liked to have got it more of that kind of like bright pink. Like there isn't the bright pink option, but it wasn't quite as right. But I think she looked really pretty. I still think the combination's right. I think I've still got the right energy. So again, I just used a Clydesdale breed as the base, and then I kind of like went in and kind of like made the face a little bit bigger, again to the best of my ability. She's also got these kind of like white spots, so I go in and give the white spots as well, kind of on her face. I realized as well I could have used the stamp to give her like multiple ones, so I do that. Yeah, I do that with her. So a little bit of a different approach than I took for Applejack, where with Applejack I pointed them on like one spot at a time. So that's an example of like a slightly easier way of doing it, just using like a brush with like multiple spots, or you can go in and hand paint them and kind of like go into detail. It's up to you. I feel like cast does support ability level. Like if you want to go in and kind of like just get the general vibe, you can do that. If you want to go in and kind of like master paint it, you can also do that as well to an extent. Again, restricted with the hair colours, which is a shame because I really found that going in and customizing the body colour was really helpful. So here I've discovered the stamp tool. So I found this literal bow stamp. So a bit different to the brush tool, and it's so perfect, but it's not a full-on bow. It hasn't got the dangly bits of a bow. So I get the kind of like bow placement right on her kind of like backside, and then I go in and I'm looking here for something that I can use for like the little ribbons coming off the bow. I feel like I kind of like got quite creative with this, and I was quite pleased with myself at the time for kind of like how I kind of like handled it. So I used that kind of like so this is one of the brushes, and it's like a little swoosh, and so I just kind of like spin the swoosh around and get it to the right size to kind of get the little bows, the ribbon bit of the bow tie. So, and then I kind of like go in and I kind of like swoosh it around in the other direction, and like I go back through and put the other side of the bow, but it doesn't look quite right to me. So then I'm like, okay, I need to, if you look at the actual pony above my head, it's not a full block. It has kind of like little bits of blue that kind of define the bow a little bit more. So I wanted to do that as well. I just felt like it didn't quite look like a bow. So what I'm doing here is using the same colour blue that I used for the pony, or at least I thought I was, to kind of try and go in and kind of like define the kind of the middle section of the bow a little bit better, but it's not looking quite right as well. It actually came out a different shade, so I don't think the shade number that I copied is the same shade that I used for the horse, which is a bit of a shame. But then I realized this is like circle stencil, so I go in and kind of like I fiddle with the blue color to get it a little bit more like the blue of the body, and then I go in and kind of use that circle stencil to kind of give the impression of the center of the bow. It's not perfect. Again, you can see how the horse is kind of wiggling as I'm trying to line up the stencil. So like there, I got it totally off. So I don't quite line up the stencils perfectly, but you could go in and kind of be a bit more patient with that. I don't have the patience. So I'm kind of showing you a kind of novice person and what I was able to do. Oh, I kept the feathers on her again just to show the variety of horses. I thought she looked really pretty with the feathers, and with her being a bit more of a girly horse, I kept the kind of feathers on her feet. And then I'm going for like a bit more of a girly kind of saddle for her. I used the pink. I think she looks super cute. I think I go in and make the bridle white as well. Yeah, there you go. Oh no, yellow. Oh yeah, because I think she has a yellow bow tie, you know, because I think her thing was like she loved putting bow ties in her tail, and she had like several bow ties sometimes in her tail. So and I think it was yellow. I think she came with a yellow ribbon. So yeah, that is bow tie. It's probably going to run again by the time I stop talking. Or let me actually just move the picture so you can see what I'm doing here. So what am I giving her? I can't see behind my own head. Needy. She was a little bit needy. She was always like, oh, my friend's coming to my birthday party. Are they going to buy me presents? So she was a little bit socially needy. So I kind of like gave that to her, at least from my memory of her stories back in the olden days. back in medieval times when I had My Little Ponies, when I was a girl, giving a friendly as well, because friendship is magic, and like, you know, the whole thing was about making friends and making your friends happy, like the little cassette that I had. And then Defiant as well, I remember her being a little bit stompy sometimes. Sometimes she'd have a bit of a strop and she'd put her foot down and she'd stomp and she'd be like, where's my Prezi? So I gave her that as well. And I think I got Bowtie. Bowtie's one of the favourite ones that I've done. I think she looks really cute. I like the yellow, again, harkening back to the little ribbon that you got with her, and that was kind of her vibe. So I think we're going to skip on to the next pony now. Alright, so next up we have another one of my absolute favourites, who is Posy. So I do remember specifically having Posy. I don't know if I had an Applejack by Little Pony. Thinking about it now, definitely have Posy, definitely have Bowtie as toys. But I remember Applejack absolutely loving her from the cassette I had. Maybe I just imagined that I have it. I don't actually remember if I had her or not. So yeah, Posy was another absolute favourite of mine. I liked the pink hair, I think, of Bowtie and Posy. I like that they were a little bit girly, like Bowtie, flowers, you know. So again, going in and trying to get her body colour right. The image I've got there again is like a little bit brighter than the reference image I was using when I was creating her. She looked a little bit more of like a faded kind of like a lemon sorbet rather than kind of like a bright lemon colour. So I do spend a bit of time trying to get her the right shade of yellow and not make her look a bit too sickly. I think I'll go back and change it. I don't think I was too happy with that. But yeah, like the pink hair as well, just going in with like the best one that matched closest. I think I do use the kind of slightly more brighter pink than I did for Bowtie, again, which is nice because it adds a little bit of variety of colour. And she had quite sleek hair. So if you go back and look at the mane and the tail that I used for Bowtie, I forgot to mention, but I went for the wavier ones because again, she was very, very girly. I remember Posy just had like quite a sleek, simple, straight style, so that's kind of what I went for. Same as Applejack actually. I actually removed the swoosh from her hair, but I ended up giving her something back, I think, in the end, because I thought she looked a bit too bald at the front. I haven't given her the feathers. I've taken the feathers off her, but I went for a hoof that kind of like matched and blended a little bit better. So here I'm just going in and editing her face like I did with all the ponies, just to give them a little bit of variety and make them look a little bit more My Little Pony-ish. I go in and make her face wider, I make her eyes bigger. I think I do that with all the ponies, and I give her some pretty little ears as well. I think I remember messing around with. I think she had blue eyes. Oh no, green eyes. Yeah, I think she had green eyes because she has a green ribbon as well. But I did actually check when I was doing them. I kind of like looked at the image, I looked at the references. So big shout out as well to the My Little Pony wiki, specifically G1, so Generation 1 My Little Pony wiki, and the My Little Pony, I think it's like the My Little Pony toy database or something like that as well, which is where I'm getting the images and kind of like the information about the personalities from. And I'll try and link to those below in the description box and give credit where credit's due, because again, it's like so cute to go back and see like all these childhood toys. So she doesn't have the spots. She actually has like a blush on her cheeks. So I found myself doing something a bit different here, trying to work out kind of like the opacity so it didn't look too painted on. It kind of looked more like a natural blush. And just working out the brush size as well. So I kind of try with a smaller brush and like different prints, but I think I end up just increasing the brush size and just doing like one big dab onto her kind of like jowly cheeks. Like there you go. And I think that's what I was happy with, like happiest with in the end. What do I go to now? I don't actually remember. Am I going to go and try and paint her? But no, I'm giving her a little, there's no green bow. I was like, I got to this point, I was like, there's no green bow. So Sims team, if you're watching this, I need a green bow so I can do Posy proud. I think I might go in and give her a white one in the end because it just complements the colours well. So here I'm going in and trying to do her flowers. Now there are some flower and plant shapes in the game, but nothing that was specifically Posy. So I kind of had to go in and create my own shape. So she has almost like a tulip shape, but it's kind of like a tulip shape with like two smaller parts. It's kind of almost like a bell, but with like petals is the way I would describe it. So it took me quite a while to find the right shape. and to figure out exactly how I was going to do this. But I think I ended up just using the leaf shape and kind of like layering it up to kind of get something similar. It's almost like a fleur-de-lis, and that's kind of like the closest I could get. I wasn't entirely happy with it. I think if I went back and did it again and spent more time on it, I could probably do it better. Another thing about sorry, I just shouted a bit then. Another thing about Posey's pattern is that where Applejack and Bowtie, their pattern was quite uniform, Posey's flowers are all different sizes and all different angles as well. So we spend a little bit of time here kind of like trying to get them into the right position and the right size. So the orientation, the size. So you can see I keep adjusting the size of the brush, and then I kind of go back in and kind of like do the petals. So that's kind of like the main point of the petal, and then I kind of go in and do the smaller points to the sides. It was quite faffy. I felt a little bit out of my comfort zone because again, I'm not particularly good. I'm not particularly good at art. I'm not particularly good at like using a paintbrush in games. So I don't really have the patience to get it right. So again, if a novice like me can do something halfway that kind of resembles the pony that I'm going for, which I don't think is too bad, those of you who are you have a bit more patience, you have a bit more concentration, you've got a bit more time to spend on getting this right, I think you could do a really amazing job. So I would be surprised if none of the other game changers have made My Little Ponies. I would be shocked if there's not another game changer out there floating around who's also got a My Little Pony video. So go and check them out, compare us. If you want to come back here and say blah de blah did it better, I'm probably going to be like, yeah, they probably did it better. But you know what? My video, my early access, my rules. I wanted to make my childhood ponies and I did it. And I'm proud of myself because I do low-level skills. Pleased with myself for what I was able to achieve. So if I'm happy, then that's all that matters. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. So here I'm kind of going in and trying to get like the stem and the stalk right, and I end up just going back to the same stencil and just using that leaf stencil again and kind of having the two leaves on either side, because that's kind of what she's like two leaves on either side and then kind of like petal, like flower. So and again, Posey was one of my favorites. So I actually, even though she's definitely not perfect, and again she's wiggling, every time I try and place the stencil, it's like she's moving and I'm like, sit still, pony. Again, the camera angle's slightly awkward. I would have liked to have zoomed in on a haunch, and I kind of found that kind of hard to do. I guess because horses are so big, right? They're the biggest thing that we've had, and they're not an even size. Like cats and dogs, they're kind of like boop, boop. Horses are kind of like heads over here, butts over here, so they're an awkward shape to kind of decide where to put the camera, and there's no kind of free camera movement in cast, so I guess we just work with what we've got. So you can see that it's definitely not perfect. This was probably the hardest one to do in terms of like creating the pattern for me, and I have done like 8 ponies, so this is going to be a long video of me just kind of painting the arses of horses. But it is what it is. Like, this is what you signed up for, guys. This is when they gave me early access, do you think they were like, Cinderella's going to paint some horses' butts? I think maybe they did. Maybe they didn't know what they were letting themselves in for. Thank you, Sims team, again, like, for trusting me with your babies. I made my babies. Oh my goodness, I am removing everything. I clearly decided I've had a better idea. What do I do? Oh, I think I just hated it. Yeah, I remember now. I did actually make these quite late last night, so I've sort of forgotten my process a little bit. So I did actually find some flower stencils. There's this one, and there's the one that's kind of above the poop emoji. And I thought, do you know what? It's not the same shaped flower as Posey, but I think it just looks neater and it looks better if I just go in and use this existing flower pattern. So it's not the same. I took some artistic liberty, but I think actually it worked out better. So again, I go back in and I use that leaf pattern for the little leaves on the side. So I feel like it's similar enough, but executed better than when I tried to kind of like freehand it with the creative use of stencils in a terrible way. Yeah, I think this worked out a little bit better. So again, same effect, slightly different to the actual original pony, but I was actually much happier with like the outcome. So yeah, I tend to spend quite a little bit of time on Posey's book, guys. So from what I remember about Posey, she was very girly. She was all about flowers, all about things being pretty. So I think, again, I kind of like, I'm a Libra. I've got a lot of Libra in my chart, so like I can get all about the aesthetics. If you go and watch my cast video and just hear me talking about clothing for hours, like you'll understand. Like it's not vapid. There's depth to it. It's just what I'm interested in. Like there's nothing wrong with things looking pretty, guys. Like it makes your heart happy. When things are pretty, it makes you happy, right? And there's value to that. So that's kind of like, look at me, I'm kind of like colour coordinating with Posey with the pink and the blonde. Yeah, so again, like because Applejack was like picking apples, I was like, oh, Posey's picking flowers. So I give a bit of that little saddleback, I think. Oh no, I've changed it. So that was my original thought. I was like, I'll give her the saddle. And then I was like, I'll give her a pretty little blanket. I think I end up giving her one of the plain ones rather than the patterned ones. Can't actually remember what I do here. I didn't want it to be too similar to bow tie. I think that was my thing. So yeah, so I ended up giving her like the brown, which I thought was quite complimentary with the pink blanket. Do I keep the pink blanket or do I change the pink blanket? I'm not sure. And I go and I give her a white bow tie on her tail because I didn't have a green one. But then I actually think, do you know what I really like? Because she's all about flowers, why not use the flower crown and the little flower that's you can put on the tail as well. So again, I went a little bit freestyle, just using some of the stuff that was available in the game. And I was actually really happy with that. I thought it suited her because she had the whole flower. Like her whole personality is about flowers, so I thought that worked for her. So let me just hide her image and you can see me going in and doing her personality here. So like the others, she's Posey My Little Pony is a name. So these will be hopefully available on the gallery if I can transfer them across from the early access save, which is an entirely separate game to my normal game. If I can transfer them across, I'll get these up on the gallery for you. So she's brave. I can't remember I gave her brave. I think it was something to do with her story. Free spirit and what did I give her? Friendly, I think it was. Yeah, so again, like the bravery of like running to help her friends. And I just go in and I think I changed and give her a bit of a flick here. I just didn't like how bold she looked, so I gave her like this side swoosh. Again, can relate with the side swoosh. Oh no, I didn't. No, I gave her that one. I thought it looked pretty with the flower crown. I think that's why I gave her that one. And again, just to look a bit different from the other two horses and create some versatility. And that's Posey, again, one of my absolute favourites. Okie dokie, so next up is Lickety Split. Again, this was another one of the original G1 ponies, might be G1 or G2 ponies from it's like the, I think it was like, I don't know if it was Friendship is Magic, but it's like the My 7 Little Stories cassette tape. So here you go. So I'm really getting into the habit of like being able to use that customization colour. I really like the sliders rather than the colour wheel. I like being able to like pick a colour on the colour wheel that's kind of near it and then go in and use the sliders of like the saturation and brightness, a bit like when you do makeup with the Sims. If you use those custom sliders, really helps out. Luckily there was a hair available that was quite similar to kind of that very very light kind of platinum blonde style that Lickety Split had, and I think I'd keep the feathers on her again just because I think the feathers look pretty, and even though they didn't have feathers on the original ponies, I did want to kind of show them off in the game, so I'd go and use the ponies. Again, very very girly. She's got the side swoosh. Not all the ponies are girly, but they were marketing to little girls in the 80s, so little girls toys in the 80s tended to be very very girly. Blame the 80s for me being the way that I am. I didn't grow out of it. I didn't grow out of my Little Pony, my Barbie face. I've literally got Barbies next to me on my desk. Yeah, blame the 80s. Yeah, I go in and kind of, she's got blue, she's actually got violet eyes, she's kind of got lavender eyes, but we don't have an option for that with the horses, so I gave her blue because I felt like it was the closest and the most complimentary. She's also got the blush. She hasn't got the spots like Bowtie and Applejack, she's got blush, so I went in and kind of gave her blush there. I don't know if I had Lickety Split as a toy, but I do remember her from the stories that I used to listen to on the cassette tape, and she she does look familiar. I remember seeing her, whether she was a pony that I wanted and never had. I don't specifically remember having her. So she's got these little like ice cream cones on her bum, and I felt like I got really creative with this, and you'll see why in a minute. I was like, how do I do this? So the little cones are kind of like this kind of like reddish, kind of peachy coloured shape. So I just go ahead and use a triangle to show like the cone of the ice cream. And again, like with Posy, the cones are kind of all different shapes and sizes, all different angles. It's kind of like one print, but it's kind of like a print that's kind of like sized up and kind of moved around. So I spend a little bit of time just kind of getting the size and the angle of the cones right. And then I get quite creative with the actual, the ice cream and the dripping on the cone. And this was one that I was actually really, really pleased with. I thought I got the colours of her you can see this, I think this is the reference image that I used as well. So again, from either My Little Pony's wiki page or the My Little Pony merch database, I think it's called, and I'll try and link in the description box below. Like this is the image I used. I think I did get the colours very, very similar. So I go in and use the poop emoji, guys, for the whipped cream on the top of Lickety Split's ice cream cone. So I use the poop emoji, and then I just take advantage actually of the horse shifting around a little, and I print 3 times each, and it just gets rid of the little kind of like the poop emoji face. I kind of like, and it looks a little bit more like whipped cream. Look at that. Like, I was so impressed with myself. I was like, I am a genius. I'm a My Little Pony create a horse genius. And that's what I did. And then so I go again, just trying to spend a bit of time getting the angle right. I print 3 times on each one, getting the size right, and I think it looks perfect. I think it looks like an ice cream cone. I think it looks like the horse. I was like proper like patting myself on the back for that one, guys. So yeah, and then I go in and there's even like a little, it kind of looks like a teardrop or a raindrop stencil as well. So I kind of go in and blob that around a little bit. Again, I feel like I could have done it a little bit better with a little bit more time and patience. It was getting quite late. It was like 10 something o'clock at this point. And I didn't want to, the thing is as well, if you look up, when you've got playtest, when you've got early access, if you look up where the gallery images and the option to save the family, I can't save my progress. I can't save my progress. So literally I had to make them all, pray my game didn't crash, and make them all at once and kind of like save them as one family, because otherwise I couldn't like save them and then open it back up the next day and keep working on it. It kind of had to be an all or nothing thing. But look at those drips on the ice cream cone. Isn't that amazing? I'm so good at My Little Pony casts. I'm not the best, but I was like, at this point, like I was getting more accustomed to the tools, and I was getting more like confident using them, and my confidence was really starting to rise at this point. I was like, I feel like I know what I'm doing now. So I think I go in it, I think I give her the brown. Do I, or do I keep her with the pink and the white? Apparently I keep her with the pink and the white, guys. Yeah, I guess. So there we go. I'm calling her Lickety Split. I don't think it would all fit into one thing. Oh no, it did. So yeah, she's Lickety Split, My Little Pony. And if I just kind of hide that, so probably making her friendly again. A lot of them are friendly because it was something that was being promoted by the toys, right? Like something little 80s girls were meant to be, was friendly. What have I given her? Friendly, mellow, I think that is. Friendly, mellow, and something else. I missed the other one. So just kind of flicking back through and showing you all of them. Again, I will try and get these on the gallery so you can play the My Little Ponies yourself. And yeah, I think she's cute. I think she's adorable. I'm pleased with the job that I did. I did Lickety Split proud, guys. Okay, my tummy's still rumbling. I'm sorry, I've had some crackers where it's not done the job, like just something to grab to kind of like cushion the noise. So the next up is Cherry's Jubilee. So again, I start off with the Clydesdale because again, it's got this chunky body that was I loved about the original My Little Ponies. I remember when they did the refresh and they made them skinny and like little. I was like, I hate them. They are not my Little Ponies. Like the cartoon is great, but the modern My Little Ponies are just not it for me. I'm like, give me the chonkers. Like they're so cute and adorable, and I love them. And I was like, what kind of message is this sending out to young girls if they're doing these skinny ponies? So yeah, Cherry's Jubilee. This is another one that I don't actually remember having as a toy. I don't remember her very well. She does look familiar, but I don't think I had her. Again, I couldn't get her hair right, so I feel like I got her body colour quite right, maybe a little bit off from that image above, but the hair colour, I couldn't get that beautiful strawberry cherry blonde. There was just nothing that was quite matching, so that's the one that I went for in the end. But this is probably one of the horses that I was least happy with, and I just wish that I wish that I could choose the hair colour. Like, wouldn't that be cool if we could choose the hair colour for horses in cast and choose hair colour for Sims as well? If we had a colour wheel for it, it'd be perfect, and we don't, and it makes me sad. But anyway, like, this was the best I could possibly do. Again, she's got a green ribbon. We don't have green ribbons, so Cherry Jubilee was a really hard one to do. I think I've given her green eyes. I can't remember what I do here. I was a little bit salty. Oh, I went for red. So the reason why I went for red and the little red hat as well is to give her more of that cherry colour, because again, like, maybe I could have made her skin a little bit more pinky in hindsight, but I was probably using a slightly different reference image. But yeah, so again, just making a face wider, a face chunkier, eyes bigger, all that good stuff that I normally do with them. They all have slightly different face shapes. I use different head shapes for a couple of different ones, so they have slightly different features from each other. But yeah, so I used the red accessories just because her hair wasn't quite as red as it could have been. I thought I was giving her that hint of cherry because her name's Cherry Jubilee and she wasn't very cherry, so the red worked, I thought, in the end. She, like Posy and Lickety Split, she just has this kind of like cute blush, but hers is kind of like a bit lower down and smaller than that kind of big chunk, so I just kind of gave her a little bit of sculpt in here. You can see I definitely went in with the whole My Little Pony style 80s makeup today with the massive drawn in cheekbones. Yeah, and then she was quite simple to do really with the cherries. I just used, so the same paintbrush that I used to do bow ties ribbons, the same stencil, the same brush. I just used that again. I turned it round to make it look a bit thicker at the top because that's how it looked to me on the cherry stems. And then I just spent a little bit of time trying to get the placement right of each one. It's not perfect. Again, it wasn't one that I was particularly happy with, but I kind of did my best with her. I think I did her proud. I think this video cuts off for some reason. I think I must have accidentally pressed a button that made the recording stop, so I think I do cut off the very last bit of kind of creating her where I'm giving her a traits, but we'll see her finished when I kind of like launch the next video. But yeah, so these are just the little cherry stems that she's got, trying to get the placement of them right. So you can see that one on her bum above my head, the top one is kind of like right on an angle, so just trying to do that. I was also working with mirror images sometimes, so you can see the reference image above it, she's facing a different angle, so I had to kind of like mentally turn everything round because I found it easier to paint the bum from this angle than if I'd done it from the other side just with the camera angles. I feel like that could have been more of a brighter red in hindsight. Again, I should have probably I probably should have made the cherries more cherry colour, but I was probably using a more washed out image as a reference. But she's quite nice. I actually don't mind her being a little bit more tonal with the kind of like the hair colour. She's kind of a little bit more of a toned down version of Cherry Jubilee, which is actually quite pretty. Yeah, I must have used a different reference image because you can see she's got 5 cherries, and the reference image I used, I mustn't have been able to see one of them. So I just give her more of a kind of autumnal kind of colour, like a warm autumnal leafy look with kind of like the green blanket and the brown thing. So I actually like the way she turned out. I think she looks actually almost like a realistic horse in comparison to the others, which the others are kind of brighter. Yeah, I think it's about to cut out now as I'm naming it. Yeah, I must have pressed a button and it cut out. But I'll skip over to kind of like how she looks when she's finished. Hold on, guys. Okay, so next up on my list of My Little Ponies that I made, I don't know, I think I messed up the recording on this video too. So next up on my list of My Little Ponies that I made is Tootsie. Now this is my least favourite, and I ended up deleting her in favour of some other horses. So originally my plan was to make the original 7 My Little Ponies from that CD that I had, the cassette tape that I had, and Tootsie was one of them. I don't think Tootsie's a pony that I had. I don't remember her very well. I don't really like her colouring. Again, I probably used a slightly different reference image from the one above, which is very, very bright. Again, a hair colour, that was as close as I could get it. I wish I could go in and kind of like saturate it more. Her skin colour is kind of this sickly, like off banana green, or like not right banana green. She's got like the pink cheekbones, and I kind of go in and kind of like the pattern on her bum was very, very simple as well. So she's called Tootsie. I've heard of Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls, I think that's an American sweet and a candy, right? But it kind of looks like a lollipop to me. I don't really understand the reference being British. Is like we didn't have that like as a sweet in the UK. So it was very simple to do. I didn't like the colours. I didn't really like the way she turned out. So in the end, I decided, which I'll talk about in a bit, I decided to do 2 different ponies, which I liked better and I thought were more interesting. So unfortunately, Tootsie kind of got sacrificed and she didn't get saved. I think as well, I had to add a sim to the household. Was it 5? I think it was 5 original ponies perhaps in that cassette. And then I added 2 more ponies. Did I? I can't really remember. Anyway, Tootsie, I'm sorry, I had to delete her. I couldn't save the household without adding a sim. And she was my least favourite, so she had to go. She had to be sacrificed in order to save the others. It's just the way it worked out. But again, definitely was not my favourite. Now, I'm not sure if this video is going to cut out and I'm going to have to jump to another video because, again, I was getting a bit late, I was getting a bit tired, and my editing, stopping, starting skills on the video was not the best. But I'll kind of show you me finishing making her, and if you want to recreate her yourself, you can kind of like see the techniques I used and kind of like mimic that. But yeah, just that sickly green colour, I just can't with her. I'm sorry, Tootsie, you deserve better. So yeah, like let's just have a talk about like I love the saddles. So you get 3 different saddles, 2 different bridles, and 2 different blankets. I love that you can customize the blankets separately from the bridle or not have one at all. Again, I used to do horse riding, so the idea of not having a blanket under the saddle makes me a little bit sad because I feel like it's going to rub the horse, so I do like to use them and have them myself. Let's have a look. I think I'm giving her her traits right, so I kind of hover over them and pause over them. Energetic, defiant am I giving her, and what's that one, friendly. So yeah, I think I'm going for defiant. Again, I was thinking she's probably like hyped up on sugar, so she's probably having a bit of a sugar rush. So like I gave her defiant. I don't really remember much about her, and I don't think the wiki had a huge amount on her personality either. So like that's how she ended up. She's not the best. I could have given her like more justice. So what am I doing back in here? What am I doing? Oh, I think I forgot to show her traits. So energetic, independent, and intelligent. Yeah, I must have thought I'd forgotten to show Cherry Jubilee's traits. So I'm just kind of like showing her off again there. And I guess I'm gonna go into the next video. Okay, so the editing skills are terrible, guys. So next up is Gusty. Now, it was a top-up between Glory and Gusty, but I had to get a unicorn in there. So, yeah, I added a unicorn. I was like, there's a unicorn horn. I can't just do the original, like, normal, like brightly coloured, but kind of like normal ponies. I think they were called Earth ponies, and you also had like flying ponies and ones with like crystal eyes. But I wanted to get a unicorn pony in there because that was an option of the original ponies. And I also I actually had quite a few kind of these unicorn ponies, so I think I did have Gusty. Like I said, there was also Glory as well, but Gusty won out in the end when I was deciding which one to do. So she has this ever so slightly kind of like creamy mint coloured body, this green hair, which again I couldn't quite get the green hair bright enough. I don't know why there's this weird line on the side of her image. I don't know what that's about, guys. I don't know. It's been a long video. And then I give kind of like a cute little hair at the front. So I couldn't give her the red, but I think I'd give her like a red bow to symbolise the kind of red streak that she had in her hair. That would have been a really cool thing to be able to do. Again, I think she's just got a little bit of like red blush. I just really liked her. And also I'd seen that there was a maple leaf stamp as one of the stamps in the game. So yeah, so I give her the red on the tail instead as a bit of a compromise. Cinderellimouse. I give her the flowers because again she's got like a bit of a nature theme. She's got the leaves, so I thought like I'll give her the leaf flowers as well. But I think I keep the bow. Yeah, and then I go in and there's this maple leaf, so I was like, oh, that's going to be really easy. It's just like one print to do. So I go in and it's kind of like this purplish deep red colour. It's actually sparkly. Her little print on her bum is sparkly, but I couldn't do that. So I just go in and find kind of like a purplish maple leaf. I think I changed the colour again. Like, I think I go back and kind of make it like a little bit more purple. Do I? Or is that the colour that I settled on? Yeah, I think I go back in. Do I? Maybe not. I can't remember. It was getting late, guys. I was getting late and I was kind of in the zone. And you know when you're just kind of like, you're like focused on what you're doing and not necessarily thinking about how you can present it afterwards. I'm pretty sure I go back. Maybe I do it, like I do the 5 and then I go back and kind of make it a bit more purpley. I swear it's more purple when I'm done. I like the red, but you can see on the butt it is a bit more purple. So maybe I have second thoughts. Oh, there's something I'm changing. Oh, maybe the angle. There you go. So I think I got the angle quite right. I think they are slightly more clustered. Maybe I make them a bit bigger. No, apparently I'm happy with her. Apparently that's how she's staying. So I go in and give her the kind of like the nice brown autumnal coloured saddle and like a really nice cute blanket as well. I think I give her one of the kind of like more like patterned ones. Just because I just liked the way it looked. I like the kind of wholesome vibe that it gave. And if I just kind of hide her, you can probably see me doing a personality soon as well. And I think I forget, even though I was like, I need to make a unicorn, I think it takes me to the last minute to be like, oh my god, I forgot the unicorn horn, because I was so kind of like in the zone of like the colours and things. There you go, I finally remembered the unicorn horn. I think I give her a gold one. Again, because she's kind of autumnal coloured, so I thought like the gold was kind of fitting. Yeah, do I kind of go in? I'm just showing it off so you guys can see what the horn looks like. It's animated as well. You get all those VFX to make it look a bit more magical. And then I don't quite like how the hair's sitting with it, so I spend a little bit of time trying to decide what to do with the hair. I think I end up just leaving it like with the original one. Which looks a bit weird. It looks a bit clippy, but I didn't like it with no hair, and in the end I was just like, do you know what, I kind of like it like that, especially with the flower crown as well. It kind of hides where it clips, so yeah, that made me quite happy. So she's magical, she's beautiful, and I love her. And then so what am I giving her here? Energetic, am I giving her? Looks like energetic. I did pause in the hopes that I'd be able to read it and kind of like tell you all the description of the different traits. Intelligent and independent. Oh, so I've gone for independent, intelligent, and free spirit for Gusty. Because I figured she was off on her adventures, running around in the woods, playing in the leaves, and that was her whole vibe. Okay, on to the final horse that I made. I think I was getting a bit quicker this time because it was like 11 o'clock and I was like, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. But I also wanted to show you off another feature, which rather than just the brushes and the stamps, there's also stencils. Now, Twilight Sparkles has these kind of like stars on her bum. So we get to have a look at another unicorn option here, and also kind of the stars on her bum as well. So using a Clydesdale body, again, because they have the chunky look, which I love. And I go in and kind of like fine tune the colour to get it as close to the reference image that I was using at the time as possible, and I think I did do quite a good job. I can't remember if it was specifically this image or not. Again, she's got that beautiful streak in her hair, which I can't do unfortunately, so I just go ahead and give her that kind of like platinum blonde mane. I think I might give her the plait as well in the end, because I don't think I've used it, and it gave me a way to kind of like get the hair off the top of her head to have like the plaited start, and then I took the plait down, so I go back and change her hair afterwards and give her the kind of like the plaited mane. Yeah, I think I just give her, do I leave her with like the simple mane, and do I keep her with the feathers? No, it looks like I take the feathers off her, so I keep them on some and not on others, but I make her hooves a little bit more coordinated. I think I give her the purple bow to make up for not having the purple streak in her hair as well. And then here we go, just playing with the face, making her face wider, giving her the right eye colour. I think she's got blue eyes from what I remember. blue eyes. Yeah, they're kind of like dark blue eyes. Do I stick with those or do we give the light blue? I don't know. And then I give her one of the more light coloured silvery horns. Again, just showing you a different example, a different option. I think I was thinking about using the pink horn because she does technically have a pink horn, but I liked the silver, so I went back for it. So here we are. I'm giving her the plait to get that clipping off her head, and then I have the plait hair running down the back of the body, which I hadn't used yet, so I was like, do you know what, it's giving me the chance to use a hairstyle that I've not used before. And of course you could decorate your pony's hair however you wanted to, it like when you had them in the 80s. So plaiting your pony's hair was something I did for many hours. So here you can see the stencil tool. So I actually think it looks quite pretty having the stars all over her body, so I kind of play around with it a little bit of like, I could print those stars on her bum one by one, but I wanted to show the stencil tool and thought it was quite cool to kind of have the stars kind of spreading across her body like that. So in the end, what I do, rather than having the purple stars across her body, I have white stars fully across her body using that stencil. It makes everything so much quicker and it's so pretty to use. And then I just go in with a little bit of the purple kind of on her backside, and I think I graduate it as well, so it kind of looks like it fades into the lighter white colours. Again, to keep her similar enough to the original pony to do her justice, but to also kind of like show off the new features and tools. So I kind of wanted to use that stamp in that way. And I was really pretty, I was really pleased with how she turned out. I thought she was really pretty. So again, she turned out to be a favourite. What I do with the saddle and stuff, I don't know. She's got that purple bow at the moment. I think I do keep that, but then I go in and give her, so you've got like the saddled version for when you're riding the horse and the unsaddled version. So the bow's on the unsaddled version. Yeah, I think I go with black as well. I think I make her a little bit edgy, and I think I give her like little black leg warmers too, because I'm like, do you know what, she might be pretty, but that doesn't mean she can't kick pony butt. So yeah, I go in and give her like those little black leg warmers. Do I make her bow black? Oh, I did. Okay, so I took a few artistic liberties with her, but I quite liked it actually. So she has still got a little tiny bit of purple with that saddle, but let me just take that off so you can see what I'm giving her. So I'm giving her brave, energetic, and aggressive. She's a unicorn, guys. They have that horn for a reason. She's looking to slay some Sims with that horn. And so that is My Little Ponies, and that is how Twilight's turned out. And I think she looks great, guys. I don't know about you. So let's hop into game and kind of see what they look like in game. Okay, so I have a little bit of a plan here. What I've actually done is I actually went in and changed all the gender of the My Little Pony horses to male, because what I want to do is I want to have Cinderella have a beautiful little horse, and I want to mate with the My Little Ponies. I want Cinderella's horse to have My Little Pony babies and see how the genetics get passed on. I thought that'd be quite a fun thing to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and, like, Cinderella, she's only got this one outfit, guys, so she's going to have weird outfits on all the other things, but let's just kind of like go in and see what we end up with. So I don't know if I should go with like a very plain looking like normal horse, maybe like a white horse. She's quite pretty. Lippy Zana. Yeah, and then we'll kind of see what happens if we kind of have a baby with the male My Little Ponies. So let's go ahead and kind of like, she's quite pretty. She's got like a little flower on her butt. We'll go with it. Let's give her this, and let's give her a cute little saddle. That's a cute little saddle. I like that one. And a little brown bridle. I don't know why it keeps resetting every time. I suppose it's quite handy if you kind of looked at Cass and you want to re-look at Cass, but yeah, I don't know. Right, yeah, she is a beautiful little sweet baby horse. She's quite plain. Maybe I'll give her quite like boring coloured eyes. Sorry, I don't mean to say that people, like, yeah, she's got like plain black eyes, so none of the ponies have plain eyes, so it'll be interesting to see what combinations we get if we kind of like have Cinderella make some babies with the My Little Ponies. I want her to be easy to train, so I'm going to make her intelligent because she's a fast learner. I want to make her quick to gain, low to gain athletic skills. Positive social interactions, These horses are content on their own and don't need as much attention. Like, how do I get her to kind of like make friends with the other sim like horses a lot? Free spirit, thrive in the open outdoors, and become sad if it is safe for too long. I might give it that. Do I want to give it that or independent? They don't need as much attention. I'm thinking, what's going to encourage her to get out in the world and like meet the other My Little Ponies and have babies with them? That's kind of what I'm asking here. Independent, free spirit. I want it independent because the less I have to care for horses, the more likely they are to survive. I also want to make her a little bit bigger. I don't kind of like how skinny she is, so let's just kind of like bulk her out a little bit because I want to. And then we'll call her, she's a Lippy Zana, so I don't know, I've called her Sim Lizzie in this Let's Play, so I don't know what to call her. Blank Slate? No, I can't call her Blank Slate. I don't know what to call it, guys. My Little Pony to be, My Little Mummy Pony. But let's just call her, let's call her Marshmallow, right? Because she's white. And that's how creative I am. So she's Marshmallow, and she can be called My Little Pony as well. And I think that's pretty much everything that I need to do with her. Can I... Owner! Oh, I don't like owner. Oh, I don't like the word owner. I don't like the idea of... Like, I'm not my cat's owner. I am my cat's caregiver. I am my cat's friend. I'm not that owner, right? I don't know. I don't like the word owner for living animals with a personality and their own independent thoughts. Like, I am blessed. I am blessed by your presence. I appreciate you choosing to be here. Yeah, I don't like the word owner. Ugh. Okay. We are done. That is it. Let's go. So if I jump back into game, can I move them? I really want to move them into that other little starter home because I really like this starter home here. 22,000. Can I move them? I might do free real estate, guys, for science. Free real estate. Yay! Right, I can move it there because that's the house I want. I don't want to have to build a house. I'm a bit busy, sell furniture. I'm a little bit busy trying to make My Little Pony babies with my horse. So I want to kind of like jump in. So I don't think there's... no, I don't want to do that. Sorry, guys. No. Right, me and Marshmallow are going to go and find some My Little Ponies out in the world. So, I keep clicking on the same thing. What is wrong with me? I am such an idiot. Why do I have early access? I mean, thank you so much, Sims team, for giving me early access, but I have imposter syndrome, so I'm kind of like... also having a breakdown over it because that's who I am as a person. It's like if I didn't have it I'd feel left out and I'd have FOMO. Well, actually having it, like, I can't cope with the pressure. I can't win. There's no winning with me. I'm never happy. Literally never pleased. I mean, I'm pleased with the cast because the cast is amazing. Look at how hot Cinderella Sim looks. She looks great. Right, Cinders, like, oh my god, look at the horse following her immediately. Oh god, I'm gonna have to keep a horse alive now, guys. What was I even thinking? Like, luckily Cinderella seems in a good mood. The horse seems okay. Let's tell a joke. What do I have to do with you? Okay, so it does actually say what the horse's needs are. If you hover over it, it says hunger excellent, energy excellent, fun excellent, social good, hygiene excellent. So luckily my horse is alive for now. Discuss possibility of time travel. Okay. Is that because the horse, did it make the horse intelligent? Is that why we can have like intelligent discussion with the horse? Let's see if the horse will allow me to mount them. Marshmallow's new skill in temperament will begin to help her successfully socialise with Sims and other horses. That's what you want. And as this skill increases, socialisation will become even more successful. Horses with high temperament skill are less likely to book riders and will perform better at certain community jobs and Western pleasure, show jumping and ultimate horse championship competition. So Western pleasure sounds like something that your Sims do to woohoo, but it's actually apparently something to do with when you become a really accomplished horse rider, horse riding should become really easy. And so Western pleasure is kind of like meant to show how in tune you are with your horse, how comfortable you are, how easy it is to ride them and get them. It's like the more cool you look while you're doing it, the better you are at Western Pleasure. I think, if I'm understanding it correctly. So what I want to know now is, are there any My Little Ponies out in the open world? And will they come and play with me and like mate with my pony? Because I want some My Little Pony babies. We might have to travel, guys. We might have to travel. Let's just spend a hot minute, kind of like, let's get Cinderella and the horse to kind of just ride. Oh, Cinderella got off the horse. She's scared. Unexpected rearing. Cinderella's feeling fearful after getting thrown from a horse. Do I have a fear? Do I have a fear now? I can't find anything. I'm so used to like all the buttons being in different places. So she hasn't got a fear. She's just having a moment. Scratch neck. Right, do you know what? Let's just travel. Let's just travel to where I think I put the My Little Ponies. Travel with Marshmallow. Because I have put them in the world. They're actually here. They're on this lot. So let's go and travel to the My Little Pony lot and go and see what they look like actually in the game, in the wild. And we'll try and kind of like make some... Oh my god, look at them all! Guys, look at all of My Little Ponies. Applejack and Marshmallow are already inside each other. So hopefully we'll get a little Applejack baby soon. Oh my goodness. Like, here's Bowtie, friendly introduction. Let's say hello to all these horses. I want a magical unicorn horse, so we'll say hello to Twilight as well. Like, guys, look at them all in the game. Look at My Little Ponies in the game. Like, living out all my childhood dreams in The Sims. Like, oh my god, those unicorn horns though look very, very threatening. Oh yeah, I gave this one, what's her name, Cherry Jubilee, like the plaited tail. I think I forgot to mention that in the video. Like, they look so good. Like, I love them. Oh my god, there's a fire on the home. Look at those two running around with each other. Look at them go. Oh my god, Applejack and Gusty are such good friends. It's okay, there's a fireman here. We don't have to bother with that at all. Can I ride other people? Oh my god, Cinderella just became acquaintances with Bowtie already. And acquaintances with Twilight. Do you know what? I want to try and ride a unicorn. Twilight, can I, if I tell you a joke and if I scratch your neck, will you take me for a ride? Look at all her needs, like his needs, sorry, I've changed his gender so I can have babies with him. Can I like order my sim to mate with them? I can mount him. Like, look at them all. Wait, what's wrong? Why is he broken hearted? Oh my goodness, what is wrong? Do you not like Cinderella? Did Cinderella upset you? What did I just do? Oh no, open some profile. He doesn't feel much of anything. Well, he doesn't hate me. I've not got any bad sentiments with him. Hopefully he'll like me better if I can like stroke him a little bit. Oh my god, guys, like look at them go. Look at her talking to Bowtie. Like, this again was, Bowtie was one of my favourite My Little Ponies, and it's like, I don't know. It's like, I'm gonna get to ride my favourite ponies. Like, I don't. This is bringing me, like, it's bringing me proper like childhood nostalgia. Can I mount her? Oh my goodness, it's a little bit glitchy. I mean, would it be a Sims game if we didn't glitch when trying to mount a horse? I don't know. Hopefully the Sims team iron out those glitches like in time for release, because it'd be really sad if the game shipped with those glitches. I do have to say as well, it is early access. The game isn't properly released and shipped yet, so hopefully we're still kind of in the ironing out phase. But oh my god, this is Cinderella riding Bowtie. Guys, you don't understand. You don't even understand like the joy this is giving me. Like, this is like childhood dreams come true, guys. Like, I don't know what to say to you. Like, it is giving me all the feels. Oh my god. She looks like Bowtie. She looks like, this is the thing, she looks like Bowtie. That is Bowtie. Go for a relaxed ride on Bowtie. Sorry, Marshmallow, you've been abandoned for this mad horse. You make yourself, like, you make friends, and if you want to be more than friends, then we're okay with that, because I want to see My Little Pony babies. I want to see what the babies look like, guys. Like, and this is great as well, because Cinderella hasn't got any riding skill. She's just like, she doesn't actually know how to ride Bowtie. Oh guys, I am so, like, I am loving this so much. Move aside. Oh no, you're on Bowtie now. I want to take all the screenshots. This isn't actually how I would actually play normally in my save, by the way. I'm in my own like off-camera save. Everything's actually quite normal. So I'm actually mostly, for the most part, gonna play with just very boring, normal looking but wholesome horses. Lots of browns. I love the one that looks like a cow as well. I'm definitely going to have a cow horse because that is everything to me. Cows are like one of my favourite animals. So yeah, to have a cow, like I am riding Bowtie. Like guys, I'm riding Bowtie. I'm riding my childhood horse. It's bringing me so much joy. This is my Western pleasure. Oh my god, screenshot captured. Who? What is that? I have that to say. Like, oh guys, I'm riding Bowtie. Bowtie. That was the song. That was Bowtie's song from my little cassette tape. I can't remember any more of it. Except for Bowtie, you're the sweetest horse to me, or something. It's Bowtie, oh yeah, it's Bowtie. It's something like that. I can't remember it exactly. I've tried looking for it. I've tried looking for the original songs, and I can't. I've probably got the tape somewhere, like tucked in away in a box somewhere. I'm gonna have to try and find it and just kind of like see if the cassette still works. Because I played that cassette tape on repeat. Like, oh my god, guys. Riding off into the sunset with Bowtie. I can't right now. Guys, I'm riding Bowtie. I'm riding a real life in The Sims My Little Pony right now. And it's giving me all the joy, all the Western pleasure. All the childhood 80s Western pleasure is being had by me on this horse right now. But having said that, I do want to... Oh, no head. I do actually want to ride some of the other horses. Oh, so where are they? Like, look... Like, what's Marsh... Like, look at them. Look how cute they are. Look at... Like, Cherry Jubilee just having an absolute, like, time of her life. Like, she's so happy and she's like rolling around in the mud. And I've got level 2 of the horse riding skill right now. These two, it just seem like they're having a little bit of a chat. So good for them. Like, Cherry Jubilee is so happy. What have we got here? Gusty. Gusty is just kind of like running around, having a good time. Oh, she's going to have a little lie down in the pet bed perhaps. Oh, she's eating some of the prairie grass. So it does seem like they take care of some of their own needs. Like, it seems like eating the prairie grass is a way for them to kind of like satisfy their own hunger. I think maybe rolling in the dust, like we just saw. Who was doing it? Oh, look at them all eating. Yeah, they're all kind of like solving their own needs here by eating from the prairie grass. And maybe rolling in the dust kind of... Oh, like, I don't know if they can go in water. I think that was more of a clip. Like, maybe rolling in the dust like Cherry Jubilee was. That keeps them kind of like hygiene up, you know, because it gets the mites off them and stuff. That might be hopefully a way for them to take care of themselves. Because oh look, she's very happy. So maybe they can go in like shallow water. She keeps kind of like dipping in there, doesn't she? I don't know where Marshmallow is right now. Marshmallow, you're meant to be socialising. Go and talk to the don't say no to me. Go and talk to the My Little Ponies. I want you to have a cute little My Little Pony baby. Let's go and ride back here. Oh, it looks like she's off Bowtie. Oh, Bowtie has been abandoned on the bridge, apparently. So... Like, how good does she look though? Like, how cute is she? Okay, go back, Cinderella. Run! Run as fast as your little human legs can carry you. Yeah, wait, hang on. What's that harvestable? I assume it's just grapes. Yeah, it looks like we just get boring old grapes for nectar. I would have loved all the different grapes from World Adventures. I don't think we've got them at this point. Scratch neck hug. Can I, like, get convinced to... Like, encourage to breed with. Oh, I love Bowtie, but Twilight. Maybe they need to have, like, is that gonna work? I feel like they need more of a relationship for that to happen. Sorry, I'm picking my water bottle down here. Scritching a neck, and then please will you breed with Twilight? I need the toilet. What are you saying? Are you saying yes? Please tell me you're saying yes. Encourage to breed with Twilight. Do it! Oh, thinking about spiders? Ooh, I wonder if they can interact. I wonder if you can take them on vacation with you to like Salvadorada. And I wonder if you can like if they get like attacked by animals and insects. Is she doing it? Oh my god, I think she might be doing it. Oh guys, I think she might be doing it. We might be getting our first My Little Pony baby pony. Like, we might be getting... It can't be that easy. Is it that easy? I don't think it's that easy. She's gone to sleep. But it's good that we can direct them to do it. Okay, this is going to be an ongoing project. Look out and see if I have another video on this, because I want My Little Pony babies. So this might be something that I do that takes a little bit more time than I can do in this one video. Look, she's all on her own. Marshmallow's all on her own because she's skinny and bony, like modern My Little Ponies, and she's not a cute little chonker like these lot. Like, look at Applejack. Applejack is like, that is a sturdy girl. Like, she is... I would feel safe on that horse. I would feel like I could mount that horse and kind of not break her. Why is everything, like, weird with me? I don't know. But how cute are they all, guys? I'm so pleased with the job that I did. Like, look at Lickety Sprit's ice cream butt. Like, so good. And like Applejack's little cute spotty cheeks. She's so cute. This is the guy. He's just a random NPC. I called him Collector because he's got a collect them all in terms of like collecting all the My Little Ponies. I thought it was clever at midnight when I was finally kind of like putting them in the world to save them. Because again, you can't access the gallery, you can't access your library and trade files. So the only way to save them was to kind of like finish making them and put them in the world. That's all I could do. So yeah, that's kind of how that's going. But these are the My Little Ponies, guys. These are the My Little Ponies in The Sims 4, and I think I've done a great job with them. I do think that some of you who have better cast skills than me and better paint skills are going to be able to do an even better job. Like, look at him giving Applejack all the hugs. Like, Applejack's so cute. I'm glad I took the time to do a face properly. Some of the others I kind of just rushed the faces a little bit. Applejack's face is adorable. You've got good genetics, Applejack. I wonder if Applejack can eat apples. Can I find an apple tree and feed Applejack apples? I've got so many questions right now, but I'm going to save all that for another video. Look at all the poo. I don't know why I love the poo so much, but I really do. It looks great. It kind of looks like potatoes. I don't know why. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna go, guys, but I am very happy living out my 80s pony Barbie girl dreams right now, and I do think I've done a good job, and I do think they look pretty good in the game. And yeah, that's Horsecast. That's my video on how Horsecast works. Like, great video. 10 out of 10. Give her early access again. I hope you've enjoyed. Please take care of yourselves. If you'd make any other My Little Ponies, like, and I mean, I know kind of like, you know, Rainbow Dash and some of the newer ones. If you make any My Little Ponies and you want to show them off to me, you can tweet them to me at Cinderellimouse, and yeah, let me know what you think. And if you want to grab these guys from the gallery, hopefully, fingers crossed, if I clever enough to be able to do it, and if I'm given permission from the Sims team, I'll be able to kind of like port them across and like copy over the save and upload them to the gallery after the pack is released and I've got the pack in my own proper game. So yeah, like, that is it. 80s kids unite, and all My Little Pony fans unite. Have a good week, and I will see you all soon. Take care, guys. Bye.